We have a fallible list of infallible books. Yes, we recognize that when it comes to the scriptures and our receiving of them, we receive that through tradition, but not infallibly so. And so this list given here in the Westminster Confession of Faith could be wrong.
Did I hear well? Reverend Don Baker, I think he's a Presbyterian, if I'm not mistaken, just considered that the Protestant canon, the list of the books in the Protestant Bible, could be wrong. Now, this is what I've been telling all along. The moment you uphold sola scriptura, you lose confidence in the canon of Scripture. This is what I call the Protestant dilemma. It goes like this. The doctrine of sola scriptura includes the idea that all things necessary for salvation are either expressly set down in Scripture or by good and necessary consequence may be deduced from Scripture. In other words, any doctrine not validated by the Bible needs to be treated as a tradition of man. This language comes directly from the Westminster Confession, Article 6. Now, we all know that the canon of Scripture is not explicitly found in the Bible, nor can be logically derived from the Bible. There's nothing in the Bible that tells us which books should be included in the Bible. Therefore, we need to conclude that the canon cannot be validated by the Bible. Well, what's the only conclusion that we can jump to from these two premises? This, that the canon of Scripture must be treated as a fallible tradition of man, which implies it could be wrong. In fact, this is exactly the conclusion that Reverend Don Baker gets to.
And so this list given here in the Westminster Confession of Faith could be wrong.
This is the sad irony of sola scriptura, a doctrine that was invented to uphold the authority of Scripture above everything else, but that the moment you impose it, destroys that authority because you don't even know if the Bible that you have in your hands is right or wrong. And being a Protestant and holding to sola scriptura, which means that your theology is based on Scripture alone, but you don't know if that Scripture is right or wrong, well, that's a very lame position to be in as a Christian.